Not again. Crypto is crashing, pretty much everything is red, and everybody is blaming Bitcoin for this. But that's actually not true. Bitcoin is holding up comparatively well. This is not a Bitcoin-driven crash. Yes, we have seen quite a correction from 102k to now 97k, but during that time frame, Bitcoin dominance actually went up. In other words, it wasn't Bitcoin crashing and then the rest following, it was Bitcoin getting dragged down by the rest. This, on the other hand, is the others dominance. So how much of all of crypto is in the altcoins that are not in the top 10? And this went from 10.9% to 10.6%. Surprise, surprise, the Ethereum dominance also went down. Now, this is actually something very common. When Ethereum goes down, then the altcoins go down as well. There is a lot of correlation between the altcoins and Ethereum. There's actually more correlation between Ethereum and the alts than between Bitcoin and the alts. Have a look at this correlation matrix. On the left side, we've got various altcoins. And the first column shows us the correlation coefficient to Bitcoin. The second column shows us the correlation coefficient to Ethereum. Now, the numbers in the second column tend to be higher than the number in the first column. And that simply means that the altcoins tend to move more in tandem with Ethereum. So when Ethereum goes up, the altcoins go up. When Ethereum goes down, the altcoins go down. The connection isn't that strong for Bitcoin and the alts. Now, why does that matter? It matters because when Ethereum goes down, especially the Ethereum denominated tokens go down directly with it, because there's a direct link between altcoin prices and the Ethereum price. This is in the end how decentralized exchange trading works fundamentally. What we've got over here are the largest trending tokens on Ethereum ordered by their liquidity. And pretty much everything is down in the last 24 hours. Why is that? Because the liquidity pools are against wrapped Ethereum. So the price of, for example, Nero is not determined in US dollars, it's determined in wrapped Ethereum. When wrapped Ethereum goes down by 10%, then as per default, Nero also goes down by 10%. There has to be zero change in trading. Not a single transaction has to be made simply just because Ethereum goes down, Nero goes down per default as well. It's the ratio between wrapped Ethereum and in this case Nero that determines the US dollar price. And so that then also explains why, for example, the performance of Solana tokens in the last 24 hours was not that consistently down. Yes, the market as a whole is bleeding, but have a look at this, right? It's a way more mixed picture. We do have some trending tokens that are up 20%, 40%, even more than 80%. We do not see that for Ethereum. For Ethereum, there's only a single token that's up in the last 24 hours. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not vouching for buying a lot of Solana altcoins because Solana is so much more healthy compared to Ethereum. I'm simply just pointing out that when Ethereum goes down, then a lot of other alts go down as well. And still, until this day, the market cap of the altcoins on Ethereum tend to be larger than the market cap on other chains. In the grand scheme of things, Solana is also not that cheap. This is the Solana dominance, a chart that starts in 2020, and it seems like somewhere around 2.5 and 3.5% of all of crypto being SOL. This seems to be more or less an invisible ceiling. From those elevated levels, the dominance can go down by more than 80%. But how much higher are we going here? The market overall is heated, and the potential risk to reward is not that great. It still makes sense to trade some altcoins sometimes, but it doesn't make sense to own a lot of altcoins, have maybe 20, 30 different altcoins and hope to outperform Bitcoin that way. I don't think that will work. Now, here is why Ethereum is doing so poorly. Have a look at the Ethereum ETF net flows. They were quite positive since November of last year, but now it seems like Wall Street isn't buying Ethereum that much anymore. We've got some negative days, some positive days. Since Ethereum moved from proof of work to proof of stake, Ethereum underperformed Bitcoin by more than 58%. And the problem with that underperformance is that I believe there's a good chance that this will continue. Here's why. During the entire time when Ethereum underperformed Bitcoin, we actually saw how the Ethereum supply already got artificially lowered through the staking program. So since Ethereum is now proof of stake, you can lock up your ETH tokens and you can get more ETH tokens in the future. And in theory, if there's more and more Ethereum that exits the circulating supply, and that simply gets locked up. In that kind of a scenario, Ethereum should actually be outperforming Bitcoin, but that's not what happened. It appears as if the OG Ethereum investors are taking profit and they've moved to Solana. Now here's the issue. This staking chart doesn't grow anymore. Since September of 2024, we rather tend to go down. Now, how fast are we going to go down in the future? Who knows? But at least it's not growing anymore. When Ethereum gets unstaked, it very likely also gets sold. And so we already saw an artificial support of the price during all of that staking. Now that support might be turning around into what some people might call a headwind. And so then Ethereum could very well continue to underperform Bitcoin. And since Ethereum is highly correlated with the altcoins, this will also push down the alts. Now there's also a counter narrative to this, and that's the others' dominance. So the market cap of all of the altcoins relative to all of crypto is comparatively low now. So those are just two randomly drawn lines that somewhat connect some tops and some bottoms. And it seems like the risk to potential reward for altcoins isn't really that bad. It seems like the altcoins could outperform. But here's something I do not like. It seems like the search interest for Bitcoin tends to trend down again. It spiked up a little bit when we got closer to the 100K, but now the interest is waning. And that is true for Bitcoin. It's also true for the search term of crypto. And so here's the exact inverse of this, right? This is the Bitcoin dominance. So how much of all of crypto is in Bitcoin? When the Bitcoin dominance crashes, that's when we've got altcoin season. So Bitcoin becomes less important, all the rest becomes more important. And it seems like the Bitcoin dominance is hovering between 73% and 37%. And there was a very nice altcoin season at the beginning of 2021 when Bitcoin dominance moved pretty much across the whole range in the matter of just 5 months. Currently, we are somewhat balanced here. We are rather on the upper end. So yes, this might favor alts, but let's have a look. When did last time altcoin season happen? At the beginning of 2021. The beginning of 2021 was over here. We still were pretty high with search queries for Bitcoin. And have a look at this. This is the search for crypto. It was already at historically high levels at the beginning of 2021, and then it grew by another 4x. All the way to the middle of May of 2021. And the middle of May of 2021 was exactly where we had our peak in altcoin dominance or our bottom in Bitcoin dominance. Seeing that the number of searches for crypto is not going up anymore makes me doubt that we will see an altcoin season in the next weeks. In the end, it simply needs new people to enter the space. It needs people that don't want to buy Bitcoin anymore because Bitcoin is already so high and that look for the next opportunity to make another 10x. If people feel that the bull market is healthy and that Bitcoin has already run and that now it goes all to more risk on assets, that's the time to buy the alts. There are of course still selected opportunities where we can make money with altcoins, but again, those have to be very concentrated bets. I don't think it makes sense to own 10 or 20 alts. It makes sense to maybe hold 2 or 3 altcoins where we've got a market edge, where we know that those kind of altcoins will get promoted by other influencers, where we know that those kind of altcoins get a lot of organic growth. Those kind of alts make sense. It's the smaller meme coins, it's the smaller AI agents, but it's definitely not DeFi, it's definitely not the larger tokens. Now here's the thing, there are plenty of topics within crypto that aren't very sexy, but that are, I believe, very vital to make money long term. For example, concepts like correlation. What we see over here are correlation coefficients. Did you know, for example, that most altcoins tend to be more correlated with Ethereum than with Bitcoin? In other words, it's not when Bitcoin goes up that the altcoins go up as well. It's rather when Ethereum goes up, then the altcoins go up as well. Or did you know that the correlation coefficient of the S&P 500 to Ethereum and thus the altcoin market is actually quite volatile? In other words, it does make sense to also own stocks, not just Ethereum, not just crypto. The common narrative is that when traditional markets go down, that crypto tends to go down as well, right? That crypto is simply just a levered bet on, say, technology stocks. That's not the case. The correlation coefficient is relatively close to 0. Or do you know the long-term expected returns of of various asset classes, of say gold, of say the S&P 500, of Bitcoin, of altcoins. When we don't just own crypto, but we also own property, for example, and we've got that portfolio, what kind of returns do we need in order to beat monetary debasement, but also in order to at some point to get financially free? How much money do we need to have enough passive income to not having to work anymore? What are expected long-term returns, and how much should we actually allocate towards crypto and towards property, towards stocks, gold, bond, etc.? What actually makes sense? When there are tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of dollars on the line, not having this properly nailed down is a huge problem. And when the market isn't that great anymore and the upside for Bitcoin could be somewhat limited, how can we still make money? How can we make money from charts like this? What we see over here is Balancer relative to Ethereum. We can make money by shorting this. Balancer has very bad tokenomics, the supply increases over time, and so it tends to do worse than Bitcoin and Ethereum over the long term. And we can make money from that, again, from the relative valuations, not just from US dollar valuations. When we look at how quickly is the monetary base expanding, and we put this into relationship to how quickly are salaries increasing, we actually see that pretty much everybody is falling behind over time. And this is not just true for the poor people, this is even true for the top 5% of earners. By the way, if you earn $500,000 per year, then you are in the top 5%. But yeah, data like this is useful. And those are not necessarily the sexy topics that work well on YouTube, right? On YouTube, it's the 100x altcoin gems that get all the clicks. But when you talk about diversification and correlation, etc., people just fall asleep. But it's the long-term planning, the long-term proper allocation towards different asset classes that actually make the difference. And so have a look at all of this. Those are tutorial videos of the premium membership of this channel. It's down below, thebitcointrader.com. There's more than 100 tutorial videos in total. What are my favorite crypto macro indicators? How do interest rates impact different asset classes? We've just seen how the market got spooked because the Federal Reserve might get more hawkish. Or how do we adjust our returns for risk mathematically, right? Everybody can get more returns by increasing the risk massively, but the idea is we want to get the best returns for the risk. And so there are ways to calculate this using alpha and beta. Those are all very complex topics, but I strongly believe that it's the skilled people, the people that have most knowledge, that tend to make most money over time. Now, besides all of those tutorial videos, there are also various chats in premium where I try to be active as well. So in case you've got any questions, just tag me in a message in those premium chats and I try to reply. The membership is currently $165 per month. This is not for people that only have a net worth of $1,000, right? This is for people that actually have to manage wealth in the tens of thousands, preferably even hundreds of thousands of dollars. There is a 1-week money back guarantee as well. So in case you don't like premium, just message me within the first week and I refund you 100%. There's really zero risk for you. Now, if it's your first time here, feel free to subscribe. I publish videos regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. See you in the next video or see you in premium. Cheers.